we get a break from the league to hopefully build some momentum again and maybe improve because it's Newcastle, the semi-final of the Carabao Cup on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock start at St Mary's. Jacob, how do you think we're going to approach this game? Do we go all out for the cup, or is it more of a distraction from the league? I think a great win at the weekend at home would have given us a free hit for the cup, but it kind of changes things a little bit, that defeat to Villa.
Yeah, I don't think Southampton are in a position to change or decide their mindset. I think they just need to go full throttle with every single game. They've got a fair, a squad that they're all quite similar. I think people can come in, people can come out. I think they need to go for it. They're in a semi-final of a cup, and they have to attack this game because they'll be going to St James's on deadline day with, how many odd Geordies absolutely pumping that place up, and it's going to be a frightful occasion at points. So I think Southampton need to go all out. They need to get that confidence. I do think Southampton can get a result. Things are low, but Southampton tend to veer from complete hopelessness to hope. And I do think Southampton are there. I think they've showed some promising signs against Villa. I think they've been gradually building after the Forest game. They need to make better decisions in both boxes, essentially. I think set plays is a huge concern, especially against Newcastle. Dan Burn scares the life out of me. But they have got it in them, and especially at home, if they can press, if they can hurry, I think they've got something in them. And Newcastle have been on a fantastic run of form, but they are due to lose a few games, and I think they can on Tuesday night.
And Steve, Nick Pope's in the form of his life at the moment, which is not what you want when you're struggling for goals, assuming that he plays. They're going well in the league. Is it 15th unbeaten league game, I think?
Yep.
What have you made of Newcastle? And are they're going to be up for this? It's been, was it the 50s, I think, since they last won a cup or got to a final?
Yes. Yeah. Much further back than even us for major cup wins. Which, given how massive apparently they are, that's a bit of an outrage, isn't it? But it's an opportunity. But let's be honest, Newcastle are a good side, and they are exactly what we're not. They're solid. They don't concede goals at all. I think they've conceded like 12 goals in 19 games or something, which is insane for a team that, given how leaky they were a year ago, conceding more than 2 a game at that point, and they're now basically half a goal a game over half a season, which is a remarkable improvement given how Eddie Howe basically spent the previous 6 years not knowing how to put a defence together. It's a fairly extraordinary turn of sort of change of form, really. But yeah, it'll be interesting. They've not been quite as convincing the last month or so. Quite a few 0-0 draws in there. Didn't do an awful lot against Palace last night, I didn't think. And Palace are certainly beatable. So yeah, perhaps they're just going on a little bit of a dip. As you say, perhaps due a defeat. And yeah, that would be immensely satisfying if we could deny them a cup final in their supposed year of destiny and all this absolute nonsense that their apologist fans keep coming out with.
They won't, of course, have the cup game in between either, will they, Glenn? So they should get the rest on at the weekend, and we don't. We have to play. So do you go all guns blazing for Tuesday night and try and get the win and take it up north?
I think Tuesday's all about still being in the tie at the end of the game, even if it's level. You can't win a 2-legged semi-final in the first game, but you can certainly lose it. And if we get the same result we got in the league game against them, 4-1 defeat, we might as well not even bother going up. It's a massive advantage for them to be at home in the second game, and they might say otherwise, but Newcastle this year, it is all about winning a trophy, and this is their best chance of winning one. So they will certainly put out their strongest team. I see that Bruno Guimaraes was supposed to be injured, played yesterday, so
he's back.
He's
back from the dead.
Back from the dead, and I was impressed with Eddie Howe's mealy-mouthed response to Joe Linton's drink driving thing. He basically could have driven into a bus queue and killed 15 people, and Eddie Howe would still have picked him for the next game
because they had a few injuries.
Yeah, so that's No, but yeah, no. But whatever. Newcastle will be very hard to beat, and I personally would be quite happy if we go up their level. But I don't think we've got it in us to go for it. And at the moment, without leaving massive holes at the back, and I just don't think that would end well for us.
I think we'll know within the first 5 minutes, like the Man City game. None of us saw that coming, and then with 3 or 4 minutes on the clock, we're like,
that's very true. That's very true.
This is all right. We know this might be all right tonight.
Yeah, Newcastle won't rest a load of players like Pep did, and they will be full strength. They've got that Alexander Isak. He's back fit now, so he'll probably play instead of Callum Wilson, I'd have thought. But other than that, I fully expect them to be at full strength. And as Jacob's already pointed out, the threat from set pieces is going to be huge. So their defence not only great at that end, at the correct end of the pitch, they're also, with Dan Burn and Cher and can't remember the other centre half, and obviously got Trippier's delivery as well. They've signed some. Botman. Botman's an absolute monster, isn't he?
They're going to have to work twice as hard on the Monday. Did you say they were quite aggressive with the training with regards to defending free kicks and set pieces on the Friday, and we still end up conceding from one on Saturday, so it'll have to go twice as hard on Monday. Jacob, do you think someone like Alex McCarthy might come in, or there's been a talk about how he might have come in before had he not rolled his ankle? I know he's returned to training. Do you think this game might be a bit too early for him?
I think it's probably one game too early. He only came back, I think, Thursday, back into training. I think the plan was for him to play a half of a B team game, but there's been issues in terms of postponements, games like that. So I think really they're looking at Blackpool game. They think that's probably a perfect game to ease him back into it. If he gets in there, hopefully he's not tested too much, making sure everything's working. He comes through that fine, and that's essentially the 45 minutes he was going to play against for the B team. So there's always a view, if he does really well, keeps a clean sheet against Blackpool, you stick him in at St James's because he's got experience. People like to criticise him, but I always found he looks quite a calm keeper. He's got the experience of it. He's got know-how, and he was going to come in after that Lincoln game. I think it was pretty obvious that McCarthy was going to come in had he not rolled his ankle, which is awful luck for him. But I think it's probably time that McCarthy just push Gavin Bazunu, and perhaps the Blackpool game is probably the right time.
I can't believe we're calling for Alex McCarthy to come in.
Yeah, Bazunu seemed to have an injury yesterday as well. He sort of had treatment at one point, and then he really struggled to kick a ball in the second half. So... He's been
battered and bruised, hasn't he, throughout the season, really, not from physical sense, but also mental. He's coming into his first Premier League season. He's facing absolutely everything coming to him. Constantly changing defence. 2 managers that play different styles. He got brought into to pass it short because of his distribution. Then within 2 weeks, he got told, actually, you're kicking
it long. You
kick it really long. Keep doing that. So, he's been pulled side to side. So it's been a really educational year for him, and hopefully, even if it's in the Championship next year, that hopefully this experience will serve him well.
I'm just going to quickly run around for some score predictions for the Newcastle game. Steve, do you want to go first? Would you be happy with a draw or?
Yeah, I'd take a draw. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as you say, just make sure you're in the game going up there, because I think the longer you can keep a game up there, sort of quite tight and tense, the more their fans will get a bit sort of on their players' backs and stuff, especially against us, bottom of the league, supposed no hopers. But yeah, I mean, if we kind of start in a sort of positive way like we did against City, then yeah, we can cause them a bit of a shock. But I don't know, can we do it sort of so soon after what felt like just a bit of a demoraliser? I don't know. I'll take a draw, 1-1.
1-1. Jacob, are you going to stick with your newfound positivity of predicting wins?
I always predict wins. I think that Southampton are going to keep a clean sheet for some reason. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win.
Lunatic.
Oh, well, you never know. Wishful thinking. Glenn?
Heard it here first.
Having predicted us to win yesterday, after a little bit of optimism after the 3 wins, I'm going to go, like I say, back into the sludge and predict a 2-0 defeat in the home leg.